Hi guys, welcome to your week 20 Modern World launch. So if you are on pace for this week, you should be working on the Industrial Revolution project. If you did not yet do checkpoint 1, go back into week 19's launch and you can watch the video there to learn how to do checkpoint 1 because this one's going to move on to checkpoint 2. So just a reminder that the Industrial Revolution project, it's called The Story of a Product, and the essential questions that you're going to be researching are, was the Industrial Revolution beneficial to the global society, so to the entire world? Or you're also going to be picking a particular product and asking yourself, is it beneficial to the global society? So even though it's something you enjoy, did the process of that being made, was that beneficial to everybody, or did some people have to suffer in order for this particular product to be made? A reminder again that the Industrial Revolution brought about a pivotal shift in human history as we began to utilize machine power in order to mass produce items. So while we did have advancement in industry and in technology that allowed for a lot of things to be produced at a much faster pace, the standard of living for some increased, but for most of the people, and that's what you're going to be learning about in this checkpoint, a lot of these workers, they relied on immigrant workers, poor workers, and their living conditions were just not okay. And that's what you're going to be researching this week in checkpoint 2. So again, are new products and technology always beneficial to everyone? And can you think of a product that makes your life better but might have a negative impact on the life of someone else or on the environment? An example of that might be, like a Nike sweatshirt or something that I think they have recently changed their practices, but up until about 10 years ago, they would ship this off to Vietnam and other places where they'd have a lot of immigrant work, people working for very little money every day, working long hours in factories. Some of these Asian countries are still using child labor because they do not have the child labor laws that the United States has. So while you might enjoy wearing particular brands or whatever, there's sometimes a lot of things that are happening on the back end that we're not aware of. For this project, you're going to be examining primary resources to learn about the impact of the Industrial Revolution, and then you're going to be researching a modern product and seeing about its global impact. So checkpoint 2 is about the impact of the Industrial Revolution on workers' lives. So what you need to understand is a lot of these people their families still lived in the farmland outside of the city, but the people realized that the money was in the city. So they would often send the guy would go into the city while his family stayed in the country, and then he would just basically be there by himself making money. But where he lived was called tenement housing, and this is a particular shot of a tenement housing. And these were overcrowded; they were filthy. A lot of times they would just cram people in here. It was a lot of slumlords, so people that were not really maintaining their property and just taking advantage of immigrants and poor people. So they would jam sometimes 5 and 6 people into these very tiny little rooms that were probably no bigger than like a walk-in closet. So this is a pretty shocking one that you could see there's about 2 people in each single bed. And that was where they were supposed to spend their time relaxing when they were not at work. So this is just something to keep in mind as you move through checkpoint 2. What you're going to be doing in checkpoint 2 is you're going to be writing an imaginary letter pretending you're a worker. So from the perspective of a worker, what you're going to do is be reading through the document set, and that document set, as always, is off to the right side. It's called Impact on Workers document set. So you open that up. There should be 3 or 4 documents in there. Read them thoroughly. Don't just read document A, okay? Because a lot of times, whenever you're supposed to be scored, right now you can see the cognitive skill is on synthesizing multiple sources. So if your information only comes from document A, that's not showing an ability to synthesize multiple sources because you're only using one. What you need to be doing is comparing and contrasting the viewpoints and multiple sources, finding out which ones agree on which areas, and bringing into it, incorporating quotes and evidence from multiple sources. So make sure you're not relying solely on document A. Read through all of them, highlight them. That way you get a better perspective of what was the life of a worker really like during the Industrial Revolution. So you're going to be writing a letter from the perspective of a worker. You're going to be writing a letter to your family who still lives in the countryside. You're going to be describing your life as a worker in a British industrial city. So your letter should address the supporting question, which is, how did the Industrial Revolution impact the lives of workers in England? You want to make sure you're using specific examples from the document sets. So I'll tell you right now, as you can tell from the picture, it wasn't good. Yes, they were making money and they had a steady job, but the working conditions and the living conditions were absolutely atrocious. So make sure you're trying to incorporate that when you're answering the question, how it impacted their life. If you need anything at all, please reach out and let me know.